back when I first built my CNC plasma table, this was one of the first projects that I cut with it. Decided I was going to try to make a great blue heron lawn ornament because we have a lot of them by our pond in the summertime, and my wife wanted one up by the house, so I just kind of drew it up, cut it out, and it was mounted on this piece of walnut you see, which was just a chunk of a tree slab there, but it's been a couple years outside as a lawn ornament, and then my wife decided she wanted me to bring it inside, and it's been inside for a while now. But looking at the bottom of this piece of walnut there, you can see there's a lot of rotten holes from it sitting out in the mulch, and a lot of spiders get in there and stuff, and the thing is always full of cobwebs. So I had another piece of tree trunk that I had cut off with a chainsaw probably 10 years ago to use for to hold a flower pot up off the floor, and I decided, seeing how the plant finally died, I decided to just kind of use this one now to make a new base for the heron. And it is really good and dry. It's a nice piece of wood. In the meantime, about a week ago, I got this really nice hoodie sweatshirt. It's a Gildan, really heavy. That's great for my shop now that it's getting cooler out. And I did a review online, and they sent me this nice hoodie, and they also sent me a really nice, comfortable hat to go with it. So, got to shout out to them and give them a thank you. It's really gonna keep me warm in my shop this winter. So anyhow, I just kind of had a couple holes drilled in that piece of walnut there, and heron pulled right out of it there. You can see I originally built it to just stick in the ground, and then it would blow over in the wind and stuff because the feet just weren't long enough in the soft mulching ground, and I wound up putting it in that piece of walnut for a couple of years outside. But now that it's moved inside permanently, it's time for a new base. So just kind of marked the location of the holes I needed in this piece of walnut. You can see I actually moved my drill press down to the other end of the bench so I can get some better videos now and stuff to clear out at the other end. And so here I'm just starting to drill some of the holes. My drill press only has about I think it's about 4.5-inch quill travel on it, so I can't drill deep enough on the drill press, but figured I'd just start these two holes and drill them as deep as I could, and then I'll just finish it up by hand. So just kind of clamped it to the table and used one of those cheap spade drills that I had that was the right size, and started drilling. And this was just a piece of walnut firewood that I cut off years ago, and I was really lucky that it dried the way it did with no major cracks or anything. So here it is. I got the holes drilled as deep as I could, and then I just kind of went back and drilled them a little bit deeper using the DeWalt 18-volt drill there. And one thing I can say is I wound up buying those adapters and the 20-volt batteries, I didn't feel like buying 18-volt batteries anymore. Well, they are about the worst combination with this drill. It's so out of balance and heavy now that it really wasn't worth switching over. I think I'm going to have to someday invest in a 20-volt drill. So I got the hole drilled in there, and blue heron fits in there, and I'm just going to go back and take the sander and just clean it up a little bit. I mean, remove the dirt that's accumulated on over the years, and not really gonna do a perfect job of sanding it. I want it to be a little bit rustic, but I did clean it up a little bit, and then gonna put a couple coats of polyurethane on it. Now at the same time, I had brought that top for the chest back down, and you can see here I'm starting to put a couple coats of polyurethane in that natural edge bark there to harden that up before I do start shaping it and stuff. I find that the polyurethane really keeps it from chipping out and tearing out and stuff when you're working on it. So I'll throw a couple coats on now, and and then one last final coat later. So here it is. You can see that clear polyacrylic does really bring out the color in this chunk of walnut. I'm just throwing a quick 2 coats on. and it does bring out some of the green in the color. It's not my favorite finish, but you know, it dries in about a half an hour, and it has zero odor, so you know, it's what works for me in the wintertime. So I got the first coat on, let it dry for a little while, and just take a little bit of sandpaper and do a quick you know, sanding on it to rough it up so the next coat will stick to it. And there we go, the second coat, and you can see really you know, walnut does have a real nice green on it. Glad I didn't burn it for firewood. So there, and then I flipped that slab over. Now I'm going back and starting on the other edge of it just to get that sealed in there and hardened up. It's always a challenge to try and keep from, you know, actually damaging the bark when you're going to leave it on a project like this. You know, from the time you cut it and time you stack it and handle it and dry it, there's so many chances for it to get damaged. So that's all dry an hour later, and you know, it's time to just kind of stick it together, and you can see the feet just slide right down in there, and a couple of taps because I think those bottom of the holes I twisted a little bit when I hand drilled them. But that's it, all ready to go back up. And I mean, you can see what just a couple of strips of metal and a piece of firewood can turn into with a little bit of creativity. You know, it's just some 1/4-inch steel plate and a 18 gauge for the feathers that I used. So now, hopefully, my wife will be happy. There'll be no more. I'm hoping there'll be no more spider webs on it. There's no place for them to hide, and basically, it's become a permanent indoor fixture now. So it should last a lot longer and not rust away on me. Now, originally I was going to make a whole bunch of these because they'd be easy to cut out on the plasma, but it turned out it just takes too long by the time you get done sandblasting them and painting them and welding them and, you know, everything else, putting them together. So looks like this will be the only one now. Wishing everybody a happy 2019. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.